voted yes. Gonna be very interesting to say the least here on how much he actually owns. If we go to, is it FinViz? I don't know. FinViz. We can go to stock. We're gonna go to Tesla, and we can see Musk. Kimball, which is his brother. What up, Fish? Thanks for stopping by. Musk Kimball, is a director or whatever, sold a net value. He sold 85. The cost. These are some options that probably were executed on that behalf, but he sold quite a bit here, about 88,000 shares. So that kind of brings it down lower here, but still has a pretty enormous amount. I'm not seeing anything from brother Elon on here. I don't think he sold in quite some time on what his ownership was. Elon Musk Tesla shares owed. Elon Musk owes 93.3 million Tesla shares, respectively 20% of the total shares outstanding, according to investors. So that's quite a lot of shares there. That's cool. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of money. And that means Elon Musk owes about $250 billion of Tesla stock, and 10% of that is of $25 billion. So 25 billion-ish is a pretty large amount. So again, 25 billion, we can do that math there. That's a very large ownership, especially for Elon Musk. Of course, I voted yes. I think it's a great thing for him to kind of take some profit out of it. So I voted yes on the Elon Musk poll there, to kind of look at that, have some fun, get some little bit of cash in his pocket, and really just kind of put it into his, take some of those real unrealized gains off the table and potentially put it into SpaceX, and then put it into other various ventures that he wants to do, the tunnel, whatever. Like it's just a great opportunity, I think. And again, it'd be kind of idiotic to not take some shares off the table at these very increasingly hype levels here that we're seeing within Tesla. So with Tesla, we're looking here currently at a weekly chart here. This has been a monstrous run. We've kind of seen this really nice little like cup here, this little really tight base forming here, and now we're seeing it kind of break out to this pretty astronomical parabolic levels here, and breaking above that previous range that we talked about was around 1123, 1125. And once it kind of broke past this level here, it kind of went into unknown territory, because again, this is a very quick move in a very quick time. Yeah, I want those shares. Exactly. I want the stock to come down so I can buy more. That on that note, if we're looking here, especially more on the Fibonacci tree here, the next level, if it continues to go higher for whatever reasons, like again, I want to make this very apparent and very clear that I have no gosh darn reason or any way of telling the future that if Tesla's stock's gonna go up on Monday or is it gonna go down. No one knows that. No one has any idea. So just leave it at that, right? So that's gonna be something to look for on that front. But so if it does continue going parabolic, the next really Fibonacci level we're gonna be looking around is around 1485. I know that's a little bit too far out there, but who knows, right? We're just looking at the tree here and seeing what we're figuring out. Looking at some little bit more statistics on the daily chart here. So looking at these like average volume here. So Tesla trades about on average the last 21 days around 30 to 31 million shares per day. That's a pretty snazzy amount there. It does trade higher, of course, on some occasions, like it traded 55 million there, traded over 60 plus there that one day. But incorporating his, what was like 100 and this is called 200 million shares. If it gets 10% of that, we're talking, it's a pretty large portion of the thing. And the way this is most likely going to be done, it's not going to be done by just going through the open market. They're going to be doing some kind of block trading before or pre-market, and they might do this block trade throughout the next week, 2 weeks, and just kind of unload those positions. Because again, just going to the open market and being able to do like that's definitely going to cause the algorithms and some of the trading platforms to kind of go a little haywire and a little crazy. So if we do see it kind of start selling off here, the first level we're going to be looking at, especially, is this 8 EMA here. Again, if you look at the pencil here, we're looking around 15 or 1155, so $1,155, potentially even to the level around 1125. That was going to be the first level, the first target landing. If we could see that, if this does come plopping down here, that's going to be an interesting place to land here. If it does start breaking substantially lower and it just becomes like a crazy, everyone trying to get off the boat and get off at the tippy top, it can easily break and see some extreme sporadic selling and just amazing amount of volatility spike up. We're going to be looking for below $1,000, and that's going to be triggering a lot of sell orders, because again, we're going to be coming in to the 21 EMA, breaking a pretty level of support where we saw a pretty large breakout come through. Because again, look at the volume all the way down here. We saw a lot of these green and red buyers coming in of slightly above that $900 level. So all the various people that follow the can slim, the breakout zone, that's what this was right here. That was a breakout zone right there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. That breakout zone right there, because that was its previous high, and it finally got the momentum that we talked about. Earnings is a great momentum changing, and it really shot up from that level there. Again, if you don't remember what happened last year, the talks about Tesla getting into the S&P 500, and just right after it split, so we can kind of go back into the weekly chart, we can kind of see that a little bit play out more. Because again, if we go into just the beginning, this part of last year, where we saw that November time frame, it really ran up all the way into the new year, and then it kind of came down somewhat to earth at that point, and they kind of then kind of went silent, radio silence for some time, went off a lot of people's radar. You can see that with the volume kind of compressing in, and then again you saw that huge gangbusters move higher here, of course, with what? The news, the narrative, the complete momentum behind the stock. Again, is it going to go higher? I have no idea. This is definitely something to look out for. So just giving that little bit of information. So just look out for what everything could happen on Monday or the following week, because the things could get little, crazy. Brian says, bless you. Thank you, Brian. Ken, PayPal. What are we going to do with those guys? I'm a little concerned. Like, this has been a very aggressive selling. It has not closed below this level here for me, but it triggered my stop, but it gave me like, hey, heads up, Ken. I would have to trim maybe 25% of the position. I've been in PayPal it's been a longer term hold for me, but this is something that if it continues going down, I should have honestly cut when it broke below this range, but I was a little bit hesitant about it, because again, I kind of know the company inside and out, because I've owned it for quite some time and listened to all the earnings reports. But is it oversold? I don't know, Brian. It's definitely been beaten the hell up, and it's going into earnings, so that's really much of a coin flip, and I'm a little concerned about that, and it brings up some worry for PayPal on that level. But It's up to you what your key levels is. Is it oversold? Depending on what indicators you're looking at, like we can look at the RSI. It is getting to that level there, but it's maybe tippy-toeing around it. On the daily chart, it looks like it potentially can get some kind of level of support here around that 225 range, but with earnings around the corner, I'm a little hesitant on that front, my friend. Oscar's asking for Affirm. Yes, me love me Affirm. AFRM. Going to earnings. Yes. A lot of these growth stocks are going into earnings, and they're getting slapped across the face. They're getting punched in the gut, and they're getting spit in their eyeballs. And they're really just getting somewhat knocked around. Especially with Affirm, this thing has been going up like gangbusters here. You can see that huge. Let me bring this to actually a daily chart to kind of play this out a little bit more. I'm going to switch the colors because I was using Tesla red, so I'm going to use like the Affirm blue. Once it had that huge announcement, I think it was pre-earnings right here in this area right here, it was talking about like, oh, they're partnering with Amazon. Bazoonga. And then a great earnings. Bazoonga. And then it just continued to grind higher, holding the 8 and 21 EMA, going all the way up. Now we have earnings on the horizon. Is it going to be a flippy floppy, or is it going to continue going higher? I don't know. I am long this stock. I don't have the options like I used to have on this one, but definitely long the stock. For I think my base is around like 105, 107. This has definitely been a very aggressive move here. And really, again, once it kind of really broke above that 146, which was kind of like that IPO high, and it's coming into that sweet spot where I like to buy these IPO stocks after the third or fourth quarter. And I think this whole trend of buy now, pay later kind of scenario is pretty, I won't say revolutionary, but definitely Affirm has a large grasp on it. And I think they have the best place for consumers to do this with. So that's my opinion on that one, especially with earnings coming out again on the 10th. It's a coin flip, right? If all Tesla shareholders voted on, nobody voted no, maybe no stock sell, a gap up nearly 6.8%. Exactly. Yeah, Don, you're right. Like, again, if everyone voted don't sell Elon, continue to hold, who knows? It's definitely going to be something fun to watch. Like, okay, like it's a news story, right? Like, it's not going to, in theory, especially, well, sorry, technically speaking, we follow the price volume. Like, what are people buying or selling? Like, definitely people have been buying the Hello Kitty out of Tesla. But once this bus or this rocket ship going to the moon starts slowing down, running out of fuel, and all the candy runs out, and all the sugar is going to be dropping, this is definitely going to be a pullback to some point. It can just trade sideways for some time, but yeah, it still can go higher. Like, I'm not going to say I have no idea what's going to happen. It's definitely something to be look out for. What are any updates on the poll? Let me see. Let's see here. It's still 53 point. It's larger on the sell side. Yep. Interesting stuff, right? Definitely caution signal. Yeah. John Jacobs, you tricked me as you usually do on Sunday, and I was thinking it was Sunday. Should have bought Airbnb. My shares have finally done well yesterday. I'm holding long term, so I figured okay to buy more. Yeah, what's up, John? Yeah, I just decided to do today because, again, Sundays are a little bit busy, especially with I have to go back into the office and things like that. It makes it a little bit more less. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for Airbnb. Less than a point of just the staying up late and then have to wake up at 4 in the morning. So with Airbnb, yes, that was a great earnings report. And travel is back. Bada bing, bada bang. This is definitely something to look out for. So especially with Airbnb, taking on the big old Marriotts and Hiltons, especially in the vacation side. This is definitely something we can really see continue going higher here. Again, not going into the breakout IPO level, which is around that 219 there, John. So with Airbnb, has been very choppy here. This is kind of coming into the same point like we talked about with Affirm. It is into that nice little spot. It's like their fourth quarter, so 1 year being a publicly traded company. People have somewhat of an understanding. We've kind of get past the sell limits and the investors and things like that. Excuse me. But this is definitely something that continuing going higher, especially just look at the volume that kind of came in the Thursday, Friday. That's substantial amount of volume. That is just not just people freaking out. Like that is a lot of volume, large money behind this stock here, and really kind of pushing it higher here. So I like it. If it's continues to stay above 200, I think it's going to be very healthy. It could potentially consolidate here over the next 2 or 3 days. And maybe even go higher here, because this is a pretty substantial move to the upside. Maybe if it does want to come down, it could maybe touch the 190 to around the 182. But if it starts breaking below this gap fill here on earnings, that's when it could be a little bit more dangerous, because all those new buyers that bought into this large candle here are now going under, and that could kind of trigger a lot of sell. RSI sell, sure, next week. 85 sell. Yeah, I don't follow the RSI to the T on that side, but yeah, definitely the RSI is going to be high on Tesla. SoFi, if you have the time, for sure. I love my SoFi. SoFi, finally, again, you have to understand, they have a huge student loan program. This thing really kind of went gangbusters here. I'm a little bit hesitant because I was like, I hope it doesn't fail above that $25 range, and sadly, it has not gotten back above that $25 range. Yes, it's made a hell of a comeback from the bottom that we called around $14, $15 here, because we pulled this one out multiple times on showing support levels in these ranges multiple times. This is something that I think it's a long-term hold for me as well. Looking for this one to break above 25, but this can easily come back down to 21 to even $20, and then just would be fine for the trend to kind of hold in around that range. Oscar's asking for Intel. Yeah, Intel is another holding of mine that I'm making some not aggressive bets, but longer term bets on, especially on the weekly chart. This range around $49 is when I was getting into it. Potentially calling a double bottom here, more like a triple, quadruple, gazillion bottom here. Potentially seeing this kind of pop higher here again, due to their large investments of, hey, they're going to bring stuff back into the United States. They're doing a pretty good job on trying to getting out of the Republic of China and just kind of start getting back into the manufacturing. We're a little bit more safe for political reasons for on that fact. Brian's asking about the V. That's the old Visa. So this is, again, also not the world's greatest earnings as well, kind of coming through here. Really took it lower here, hitting that previous range that we talked about on 214, 215. But now it's seeing it maybe trying to bottoming out here. They did raise their dividend here a little bit. That being said here, it is a little bit of a broken trend for me. If you're looking strictly at the Fibonacci tree, we want to start seeing it stay back above the 214 to 215 range, especially on the weekly chart. It's kind of broken what we previously thought was support here. So if we look at this level here, which is the white dots is the 55 EMA, but again, we're looking at the weekly side. So these previous levels has been some level of support, but it bounces back really fast. So if this wants to hold, we want to kind of see this get back up to that range here pretty quick here. Because the longer it stays under this trend water, under this trend line, it's going to start rotating this lower, and that could potentially cause like an uneven balance of a shift of sentiment in the trend and really kind of start kicking it lower here. WPRT, fuel system, intraday bull flag, and daily chart earnings next week. Yeah, earnings next week is always like very careful with. Yeah, I can kind of see the bull flag. You're really looking at yeah, I can see that. Showing some level of support around $3.56, aka the eight EMA on the daily side. My only thing is the previous trend here would be here. So again, this is the 55 EMA on the daily side, and we're not seeing it really kind of have any kind of showstopper to kind of get that back above. Is the earnings coming out next week potentially going to be that catalyst to kind of break it up higher? Maybe, right? Like, is that going to be the level where we can see it break out and go higher here? Maybe. I'm not sure on exactly what the company does, but the chart is very much trending lower here. But again, with earnings, it is a coin flip, so being mindful about that. Danny's saying, I voted no. It's still plenty of time. Oh yeah, there's plenty of time to vote for sure. Like that we have like 18 plus hours left. Like it's gonna be super interesting. Yeah, 19 hours left. So it's still, again, only 1.5 million people have voted so far. So I thought that was quite interesting on that front. So we'll see what happens. Again, it's going to be an interesting day come Monday for sure. And I think Bear within our wonderful Discord pointed out that Tesla is about 1.5% bear, I think you said, of the S&P and like 4% of the QQQ. Yeah. Brian's asking for IBM. Wow, talk about a beast. Yeah, same with an earnings. When an earnings drops like that, I don't want to be the one kind of holding the cake or trying to catch this falling knife here. Still very aggressive, even after the fact. It goes gapping down lower here. I really don't want to be touching it. If you're trying to pull this of like, hey, Ken, look, this is support previously over here. Bada bing, bada bing at 120. Look at that, bounced right off that level there. Look at that, look at that. Yeah, sure, I understand. But also, it has just missed earnings. It still made money, but it's probably just every Wall Street analyst has give it a downgrade for whatever reason, because we actually give a shit what they say. But looking at the understanding of this trend here, that is very aggressively pointing down here. And that's a very, like, gravity. I don't want to fight gravity right now. So that's the way I would look at it. Potentially, that 120 potentially could be your short-term bottom, because that's where it's pulling from. I would like to see this more on the weekly side on how this one looks like. Yeah, that 116-ish level to 115, it would be a little bit more level of support here, but we want to get the candles a little bit more tighter. This is large range from 127 to 120, almost a $7.50, just an $8 move in a week. That's pretty aggressive for like an IBM stock. So that's something I just want to be a little bit careful about there. A lot of ones people have talked about was Peloton. Definitely, things have changed in this particular stock. I think I pointed that some out via our Discord on like, hey, things have truly changed in this market here, especially, again, Peloton. You can call this a head and shoulders kind of pattern here. So this is the head. And here's the shoulder, and here's like the neckline. This just looks terrible, doesn't it? Looks like something inappropriate. Anywho, so that's what I'm going to be looking for. But again, basically the neckline here coming across here around 100 to around 95 here. This is definitely something once it took out here again with an earnings miss, large volume. I do not want to catch this knife. I'm pretty sure on different various indicators it's saying overbought. So if you're pulling into the RSI, yeah, RSI is at 20, all right? That's pretty insane. But that doesn't mean it's got to stop, right? Like, this is just the first day, and it's still really getting, just getting pummeled. And it's really it's given back everything from basically the move that we saw. It's got to go back down to $30, but definitely this thing, a lot of people are fleeing out of Peloton. Another one that I saw was getting beat up quite a bit, the old Chegg. So Chegg, this is like the retail bookseller, online tutoring kind of thing. This would have been great for at-home learning, continuing people staying at home. This thing has definitely given up the, this is definitely a knife you do not want to catch. That is aggressive downward momentum. Basically going back well below where it even was pre the pandemic, okay? We're coming down to the pandemic level. So in theory, it should be, unless there was not kind of any fraud there. I don't know what, I didn't dive into the earnings and figure out what their gross margins and stuff are, but we can kind of just look at that, I guess. Let's see here. Net earnings per share. Net gross profits. Oh, I gotta go to the quarter here. 2020. Yeah, the gross net profits were not as great as the second quarter. Because again, the quarter one, they must have been buying a lot of stuff. But we're looking at the revenue. Current and the 3-year average around 36 point. Yeah, it's not like it's like growing that much. So they don't have that much of that cash flow kind of going into here. FUBO. Wow, I haven't heard that one forever. This is Fubu TV. Wow. This is a good looking chart here, Oscar. Thanks for sharing, my friend. Yeah, like this is, I was expecting this one to be lower, like below 20. Interesting. Looking here again, I'm looking at a lot of the charts more on a weekly chart. Definitely look at that $35 level. Let's see if we can get broken past that. I'm not the world's biggest fan of this particular candlestick here. That usually potentially means a potential top in place. Again, this is not set in stone kind of stuff here, but this is definitely something that we could see if it does have the momentum, especially with earnings. Earnings could be a very large momentum outbreak. We can see it really go higher. That's an explosion of happiness and stock market volume going through here and break past that $35 range and make its way back up to $41+ here. Again, really going to be relying on the earnings though. So the earnings is going to be, again, a large indication of this analysis. Again, looking for some support if it does come down. That $25 to $26 range is going to be something that we need to look at that range. Another interesting bull flag is an IPE index. It's an IPO semiconductor play. What did you say? IPE. Yeah, this is just right out of the box. I see what you're saying here, honestly, Oscar, or not Oscar, Fram. This is definitely something that you could see. My only thing is there isn't too much data for me to pull off this, technically speaking. It's kind of in like a free form kind of scenario where, hey, I really don't want to be touching this right now. It's brand new here, but I can kind of see what you're looking at here. I kind of have to break it down to a little bit more to like the 4-hour chart here. And it's finding some support here around $21. But if it starts breaking below that $21 range, that could definitely start caving and lower there and seeing it really kind of break into that selling range. So yeah, it came out at the right time, honestly, because look at what's going on with Nvidia this week and AMD. Like Nvidia has been insane, right? Like this is looking just like Tesla stock. Like it's gone completely gangbusters here. You remember this chats that we had this summer, and like it wasn't even the summer. Like it was. If you look at this chart here, like Nvidia did nothing. Look at all this space right here. Nvidia did absolutely nothing forever. Did nothing, right? It was just doing stuff, building stuff, computing, building processors, building the best GPUs, whatever. And then it finally broke out of that range. All that pent up demand went into the market and it just took off like a rocket ship. So yeah, I love those kind of charts. Same thing kind of happened with Netflix. So if you remember with Netflix, it was doing nothing and then it finally just took off. But now it's kind of giving some of it back, but whatever. Zip's asking for Ford. Yep, I love me some Ford. Own that stock as well. talking about a beautiful kind of cup with base here, beautiful formation here, and then just a rocket ship higher coming into that 19-ish plus dollar range here. That's going to be some level of resistance on the way up. That's definitely something to be careful about. But this EV movement, these car movements, it's kind of here to stay, and I think it's a continuously ongoing trend here moving forward. Some pullback levels will be around 1645 though for Ford, but I really like it. I really do like Ford. We'll see if we break above 19. I have some targets around that 24 to 25 level there for sure. Let's look at, oh yeah, Tesla due diligence. What's up, my dude? Tesla, do you think Tesla will fill the gaps? Let's see here. What gaps are we talking about on the daily chart? Like the gaps like around 1100-ish, and could it come back down to $900? Of course. It really can. All right, guys and gals, anything can happen in the market. You got to get ready for it and get ready for a punch in the face almost every morning when you get up. Like, especially when you're trading, I won't even call Tesla a speculative stock anymore, but definitely with this phenomena of Tesla stock run again. Can it continue going higher? Of course it can. Can it break down lower? Of course it can. Can it do nothing? Of course it can. We have no idea. No one has any idea what's going to happen and how it would play out if he holds or he sells. I have a feeling that, God forbid, the SEC gets involved and calls him stock manipulation you shouldn't allow the Twitter bandwagon to let you select your investment advice. Who knows what's going to happen? He might get fined. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now. I hope it doesn't happen. I really don't. But people are just kind of waiting in the woods or in the bushes to come out and attack Tesla or Elon on anything. So hopefully he just has his shields up. I'm liking what I see on ILUS. Yeah. So again, I'm not into the whole penny stock there, Danny. Definitely, I do see what you're talking about here on that range here, potentially that breakout range above like 47 cents. Yeah, it definitely could break out. I have no idea what this company does, but we definitely need that volume to kind of come in here to support it though. What's up, Makeshift? He's saying RIP Tesla. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see if we have those the above. Pretty sure it's over 1.5. Yeah, it's almost 1.6 million now, and it's still holding pretty steadily around 53 and 46. So again, we have 19 plus hours left, so we'll see what happens. Tesla maybe 15% next week. Yeah, anything can happen within Tesla, right? Like, guys, like the expected move for next week for Tesla. Oh, why was all these windows open? Close, thank you. Expected move for next week is around $100 plus or minus. Definitely going to be a little more higher volatility on this kind of news here. This is definitely something to look out for. So $100 would kind of put it back around the 8 EMA to maybe potentially the 618 range there, but that definitely could be a little bit more blown out once we again the implied volatility has been climbing here, but again with the news, just again the markets are not open on Saturday, and then with the news coming out that, hey, I'm gonna let the Twitter folks tell me if I need to buy or not buy, sell or hold my Tesla stock. So interesting stuff. Elon always keeping it fresh for sure. Liked and already subbed. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Oscar's asking for Disney. Yeah, talking about one that's been shaking me out and about. So this honestly doesn't do it justice. Let me zoom out to the weekly chart here. So we're seeing it again. Disney, they're getting a little bit of flack about raising ticket prices again. They're making it pretty expensive for a normalized family income to really go there and have a good experience. and they're taking a lot of the former perks away from the Magic Band service. They're replacing Fast Passes with the Genie Pass or whatever, and all these other things. And it's just a lot of change here. It's definitely not your Bob Iger CEO model. It's the former, I think it's the guy who used to run the parks division who's doing a lot of these changes here. Kind of been flatlining here. It's been in around this like $4 or $5 around 175 for quite some time here, and it really hasn't seen too much action again. We've had a couple fairly large movies coming out. We had Boba Fett series announced going to be coming in the hall in December, and not really too much other like snazzy stuff to be talking about in that range. That doesn't mean that the stocks can't go higher again. This does have earnings coming out. I think it was next week. It has a squeeze in play. It's been very quiet here. So this is definitely something that could, again, earnings is a very large driver in most stocks, right? That is something to be very careful about looking at these moves. Again, the last earnings wasn't like crazy moves, but the last like a year ago where it was kind of making a strong comeback, it really had these large gap up earnings. So we're looking for these levels again. This 55 EMA here on the weekly chart is definitely the 169 to 170 range, has been level support here. So if there wasn't earnings, I would be buying it in that range here. But with earnings on the horizon, I'm a little bit more hesitant and kind of keep my powder dry, and I'll see what happens. Maybe add a little bit, maybe 10 or 15% of the holdings. Jessica was saying, RIP 11-12 call holders. We'll see what happens, right? We don't know what's going to happen yet. Robos G says, hey, Ken, what's up with AFRR near term? What do you think long term? Is that Fiverr? FVRR. So Fiverr, yeah, I think honestly, this could be just kind of in that same bucket of, hey, this was a stay-at-home play. I don't think it's going to be like Fiverr. I think is a very interesting model, especially for people to make some income on the side here. That being said, it has been beaten up here, right? It also has earnings coming out the 11/10 as well, so this next week as well. And then you see last earnings, it really kind of took a dump. And even the earnings before that kind of took a dump. I'm a little bit more hesitant about it. I'm not going to be jumping all in there. So near term, it's very questionable. But that level of support here, potentially around 150 to even that 134 range, we could see some level of support here. But again, if we're seeing a downward move, especially with a selling pressure coming through, we want to be very careful on not catching those falling daggers or potentially katanas falling, because depending how these long swords. That being said, for it to kind of start breaking back out, we start needing to see it above 192 there. Yep. AMC, you're asking about? AMC, yeah, this again, the meme stocks, whatever people want to call this. It is an interesting pattern coming out, again, with earnings. Again, all these stocks that we really have been talking about is about earnings, and those earnings could really shake things up, because that's when is usually a lot of volume. It's like a repositioning. It's new data that no one else knows about, and then everyone's scrambling to kind of figure it out, if it's head or tails going up or down or blah, blah, blah. We'll see what happens. So if there wasn't earnings, that level around 37 could be at some level of nice support, even to around that $35 range. But that breakout range above 45 has been a little bit lackluster, to say the least, and has not really seen that kind of movement higher to see if we can break in and out of that range there. Lions is saying Tesla's going to test $900 next week. We'll see, right? You don't know it. I don't know it. You can make your bets. Place your bets. Ryan, Costco, what's up, my dude? Costco, you know we love it. Just went today. Got a great-ass deal on some fantastic plants. I'll post it in the these little, not, what are they called? They're not the money tree. I got a money tree and these little like pots of plants that I kind of just sat in our bathroom, and then one on the kitchen table to kind of make it look nice. So the wife knows that I care and I want the house to look pretty or whatever. But great deal on it. What else did I get at Costco? I got some nice sweatpants. You can never go wrong with sweatpants, right? Especially on the weekend. So with Costco, it just keeps on going gangbusters, gangbusters, gangbusters. That 513 levels was a level of somewhat concern, to be quite honest, for me. But we're holding it, right? And we're not seeing any kind of aggressive selling coming through. We're just seeing continuously upward momentum. Again, maybe kind of flatlining, because this is what kind of the last like year and a half that Costco has been doing. Is very large move higher, and then kind of consolidates in around a fib level. So we had this large move higher, kind of consolidated around the fib level. Large move higher, kind of considered around the Fibonacci level. So we'll see on how it happens on that. Ryan's asking, what do you think about Net? That's Cloud, right? Cloudflare. So this is a little bit too extended for me. I have to get a dishwasher now, Ryan. I got a nice Samsung refrigerator at Home Depot and Lowe's. It was 26 or 2,700. That's for delivery and install, and then remove the old one. At Costco, it was like 1950 for delivery and installation and take away the old one. And I can get it like a month sooner, because that's when there was like a crazy supply shortage. Like, it was insane. So check out your Costco. I really wish Costco would sponsor people, because I would be the best salesman for Costco. Anyways, with Net, again, this is a little bit extended for me. Again, you do see that pullback kind of coming through here. It did fall into that 8 EMA here. So that 8 EMA is really that very fast driving momentum average that we look at. More of a level to kind of see it catch up, maybe around 180, or where that 21 EMA lies. But it's a little bit too far extended for me right now. HD's doing great too, aren't they? Yeah, Home Depot, they are. Home Depot, huge momentum move higher. Like Home Depot and Lowe's, like, again, materials are costing more. They're just the middle person in the wheeling and dealing and stuff, so it doesn't really care on what the cost of plywood or particular shower tile costs. They don't care. They're just getting more inventory, and they're just the middleman. They're not producing any of this stuff, so forth. But on that front, that's the Home Depot. There was another question I saw. Elon should sell 100% of those these prices. Yeah, you have to make a good point. The stock is definitely elevated for Tesla. Vaccine mandates stopped by federal government already. Really? So like the military has to give, or I'm not keeping up with it, to be quite honest with you. It just kind of triggers me a lot of the time, so I don't really pay too much attention to that fun stuff. The casino stocks, that's what I wanted to talk about. MGM, LVS is one. I think Makeshift, you and I have gotten in this one a couple times. Shook me out over here, broke substantially lower here, kind of built somewhat of a base here, got back into it. Then I think I sold before earnings, got back in again. Now looking to kind of break. I want to see it break above 43, basically. It did touch it, but I want to see it break above it here and really start testing that downward trending blue teal line that I have there. Yeah, I know. I just like it's gonna be, it's a long-term hold for me, but we'll see what happens. Someone asked about PLTR. PLTR, same kind of thing. This thing has just been, again, it's a little bit sad because all this movement over here was just on crazy expectations Really just hyper sensitive Wall Street bets folks, and just fighting with Andrew, what's his name? Citron Research, Andrew left on his short report on POTR, blah, 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 blah. This is definitely something that is, I think, a pretty good company. I'm still doing this. This is something that I think is a great long-term play. I like the data that they have and how they're working these government contracts. Those government contracts are not easy to get and hold. That being said here, that level here around $27 is a very key level to kind of break out of. So that being said there, and then we have some downward support here around 23.50, and it's just kind of been trading these wave kind of patterns here. So just kind of wait to see. It does have earnings on the horizon, so let's have a fun ride here. Yeah, Nvidia definitely is insane, right? Nvidia is at these levels here again. This is not like a penny stock or anything like that. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. How much is this company? It is, market cap is unknown. Great. Why does it know? Think or swim. Get better, man. Get better. You had one job. So with Nvidia here, again, very far extended from the 8 EMA. I'm always hesitant about that, and we haven't seen the 8. We haven't seen any of these, like the stock even touch the 8 EMA. So I'm a little bit like, hey, hold up out there, be careful. Lucas, do I have any kids? I do. Biden's going to start a civil war yet. Okay, let's not get too political in here, guys. Amazon is creeping back up. Yeah, Amazon, like we talked about with like Netflix and AMD previously, it's in this weird level here where it's coming. It's 700 billion. Thank you, Ryan. Amazon, what's going on over here? All right. So Amazon's been in this really, it's not completely in the box. This is something makeshift. I had Nvidia stock. I probably had 50 to almost 75 shares of Nvidia at 80 to $75. Again, that's the days when I had ADHD and I would just sell everything for like a 20% gain. But anyways, I need to start holding things a lot better, and I'm doing a lot better over the past couple of years on that front. But anywho, with Amazon, like we're talking about, this thing has been doing almost nothing since potentially that move from the bottom of the pandemic, huge run higher, and then it did nothing. Like, it has done absolutely nothing. It was trying to break out here previously in the summerish months of this year, but they kind of came right back down. We're seeing that Bezos is stepping away, and we're going to have the AWS guy start taking over, and he's going to be working on a space company. Sadly, thing is, I think a lot of things, the stock is still tied to Bezos because, again, he's the largest shareholder of the company, just like a Tesla standpoint. Very eye-catching, villain kind of looking person, and some people just don't like him because of that, but whatever. To each his own. Initially speaking here, this is definitely something that is trying to break back out here. In the short term, we're looking for that level here around $3,600 to maybe see that kind of come through here. I do like to see these green candles here. That's really cool. So we get a double green there that potentially could kind of carry this market slightly higher there within that. Trouble is asking for ME. What's ME? 23. Oh, wow. I didn't know. I forgot this was out. I like this. This is a good looking chart there. Oh, boy. I like this. Look at this. It's trying to reach to its IPO breakout level. Sadly, it's not in the same formula where it's 2 or 3 quarters in. It's coming up to its second quarter here, but that is an interesting level. If we see it break above 1355 here with significant volume, especially with its earnings, this thing could definitely rip to $15 plus. But on the flip side, we could see it come back down to 12 to even around $11 if it does fail at these levels there. Yeah, 23andMe makeshift the people that you spit in the tube and they tell you where your family's from, but they're probably using it to build clones. Yeah, that company. Zillow, yeah, Zillow. Do I think management's stupid? I know the founder or the founder CEO is back at the helm, and everything I read about him, there he's like brilliant, smart kind of dude. This is definitely something. Um, it's definitely a bad look, but I think a good company that gets its shit back in order and kind of does what it's supposed to do and not start to go down the path of basically. So what they were doing over the past, it was like 3 or 4 years, they were buying like, I think about like 7,000 homes over that time frame, where they're still holding 7,000 homes around like 2.8 to $3 billion value, which I think it puts it in around like 350,000 plus average cost of a home, which is pretty decent home, especially depending what part of America you're looking at. Like if that's in DC, that would get you a box, or if you're in LA, that's a box. But if you're in the Midwest, that's like a beautiful style home. But with Zillow, this is definitely a big mess up. But it's not the end of the world. They're trying to correct it. They're trying to fix it. Again, companies do mess up. It was a hell of a bet. The CEO made it very clear it was a bet. It did not pay off. I apologize. It sucks, and we're dealing with it. So it's a large red candle here, and I really don't want to be looking for that to try to catch the falling knife here. We talk about that a lot. But that $65 to $64 range potentially could be some level of support there if we start seeing it stabilize here in that range. Hey Kelly, yes, I do. I'm tricking him. I'm most likely going to be doing more of the streams on Saturday due to the fact of family comes first, and again, you guys are a connection in the puzzle of family. Again, I really do appreciate everyone coming out and watching and listening and sharing ideas. I really do appreciate that, and I find that super awesome, to be quite honest with you. But again, the family that I live with, like at this point in time, is very important to me. So I want to make sure I divvy up my time at a reasonable amount, at the same time giving entertainment and I think sometimes a reasonable good laugh to people. And then at the same time, we talk about some of our favorite things like stocks. Logitech, yeah. This one, oops, I spelled that. It's Logi, right? So this is kind of like that stay-at-home play, Ryan. I think we were both in this on this last quarter. Once it broke like 117, and after that quarter, it never got back above 110. I had to get out of it. Like it just, I think I sold some puts on it, and it just never kind of came back into fruition. It never got back above the 21 falling EMA here. And this is what happens when that momentum just kind of drains. It's just like a small 2 or 3 pieces that are taken away from the structure, and then once those 2 or 3 pieces turn into 5 or 6, then 5 or 6 turns into a million, and then it kind of creates like this cascading fall of the stock, and this trend kind of happens. It doesn't really matter what business it's in or whatever it is. This is just the trend of the channel here. So that's what we're looking at, and just kind of seeing it grind lower in around those ranges there. So again, I love Logitech. I'm wearing a headset. I have their keyboard. I have their microphone. I got their mouse. I have their mouse pad. I literally have them. Their thing for my my iPad. Like I got their keyboard. It's fantastic. great products. But again, it's kind of coming back down to earth because again, it had that very large move here over the past couple of years in that front. Where could it be landing into? You see my levels around $77 to $75. We potentially can maybe start seeing some level of support. And if there was another guy, Will, who was asking, if you're way out there, Will, you asked about Sam. We talked about Sam a long time ago with you. Around $495 to $500 is going to be a level that we're looking for some level of support there. I always forget that the guy asked me many times ago. I forgot. What's your thoughts on Chewy? I'm still licking the wounds. Ugh. Yeah. Sadly, this is the same kind of thing. This it did have a bounce here. So again, we're looking here at the weekly side. So again, this is a 3-year chart. Each of these bars are 1 week here, Kelly. We're finding some level of support here around $62. We're around $62 to $63 here. That was its previous 1, 2, and a 3 potentially breakout here. That being said, if this momentum kind of kills and dies off here, which again, did see a pretty large red candle at the same time, earnings behind us here, definitely looking for some chop kind of going in here because again, it's really just digesting this very insane move that we saw here, and now it's kind of trying to get back into that like trend here, but it's not having the world's greatest time doing it here. Looking for at least getting back above that $91-ish range here. But that being said, if we have to get some more green into the chart, especially on the volume side to see that pop. Brian's asking about Path. Is that a Kathy Wood thing? Because is this the one she's been buying? And then also T-Doc she's still been buying, right? Yeah, UPath, same kind of thing, kind of just trending lower here. It is trying to break out here, but it's kind of coming back here. So basically 55 is going to be a level in your short-term level of support there. But Kathy Wood's been selling her Tesla stock too. I think she has. That's definitely something to be interesting to look out for there. How about Body? It's dead. Is that Beachbody? Wasn't that a SPAC? What's it? Is it? Oh, it's BODY. Sorry. Yeah, nothing to say there, my friend. Beachbody company, hasta la vista. Same kind of thing, trending lower here. Not really getting back above those moving averages like we talked about. Thoughts on Plan Ken value area in my opinion, if it holds. PLAN. What is this stock? Designed to address end-to-end architecture plannings for organizations. Huh. It's interesting. Like the trend is looking interesting, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, potentially, if you're looking at the longer term play, we need to look at the weekly side. Very choppy here, honestly. Makeshift, which I think you're probably going to say. Definitely like aggressive action up and down, so forth. But again, that 61 to around that 59 to $61 range could be short-term level support here. Stronger support coming in at 55 here. The only thing is the volume has been kind of drying up here, and it looks like it has a questionable earnings coming out the 23rd, so the week of Thanksgiving. We'll see how that one plays out, but looking for this one, if it does pop, needs to really get back above $70 plus. So yeah, a little bit choppy stock, but if earnings are growing and it looks like EPS is trying to get into the positive, that could be a very large momentum move for the stock. NXE. Wow, that's a beautiful trend. It's a very good looking stock there, Ryan. Yeah, this looks nice. Looks really good. A little choppy on the daily side, but if you zoom out to the weekly side, it looks pretty good. So looking for potential level support around $5.40 and potentially down that 490-ish range. Good stuff. AI, yeah. What happened? I haven't looked at that one forever. Ooh, I was a little concerned about that. Definitely got hyped on. Really? Definitely, a lot of people got hyped on that for sure. That is not looking too fun for the shareholders there. Potentially, this earnings would be nice to see what happens at this level here, because once we start getting out of that range here, yeah, a little, yeah, not the best looking stock, right? We'll see on how that one plays. Because again, if we look at the daily chart, yeah, it's having a hard time getting back above the 55 EMA. Potentially, to be quite honest with you, if the weekly chart was a little bit more compressed and it's been out and about on the market a little bit longer here, this is definitely something that I want to maybe get into, depending on if I know the company a little bit better. But it looks like if we look at the analyze tab, yeah, it's not too much information because again, there's not much data out there because it hasn't been publicly traded for very long. If Elon doesn't sell, does Tesla stock run more? Possibly, Kelly. I don't know what the logic is behind it. I hope Tesla runs more. LOL. um, let's see. At least let me cash some out before he does. Get some of that money. DM ran the other day. Yes, DM. That is a long term play. I think you and I have been into. Uh, did finally break above that 55 EMA here, but it's not going to be like. I don't think it's going to get to $35 to $40 anytime soon here. Sadly, that SPAC attack movement that we saw and blew up in 2000, I don't think that we'll ever see that again for many, many years. That was insane amount of time where we saw our accounts go up every single day for like 3 months. So that was insane. Like I think that it needed to be noted that that was insane. Hey, did you guys already go over PLTR? We did, but we can look at it again. So PLTR does have earnings coming out, right? It's on the Monday, on the 9th. What is that? The 9th is on a Tuesday. Okay. So earnings on a Tuesday coming in here. Again, we talked about this one it's been trading sideways like a wave here, with some levels here around 23.65 and 27.53. So the expected move for the week is basically $2.75. That kind of puts it in that range there, right? So we'll see if it breaks out or breaks lower here in that level. J family, we did already talk about Zillow. I loaded up on puts this week. Yeah, again, it was a large red candle there, J fam. So anything can happen. Like that is we talked about potentially some short-term level support around $64, but that is not that's like holding a brick wall up with like some duct tape. It's not going to hold anything back or hold the water from sloshing over and kind of going the other direction. So we'll see what happens. Tuesday before. Okay, thank you, my friend. Ryan, thank you for the $4 and the cup of coffee. I definitely need a cup of coffee. It is a little bit late though. I can't do that anymore. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. It's going to parallel. It might be a good time to sell a couple. I think Tesla has definitely gone parabolic, and I think it's if it's part of your plan, I think it's smart to sell. So again, you have to understand makeshift. it's not going to be like Elon's going to go out there and just put at 9:30 Monday if Twitter tells him to sell it. He's not going to go out there directly and sell it like at the open market like that. It's just not going to be uh, applicable like that. It's mostly going to be doing through block trades, and he has to go through the special retail function. We'll see if that will happen. So if Tesla can kind of again block trades, we're talking what was it like? Was it like 15 million? No. How many shares is he gonna sell? So it's been like 20 million shares, and that's how much like Tesla trades. Like again, you have to understand like he's gonna be selling that if he does. Again, this is all if they're gonna be having brokers sell these in lots. Again, it's not gonna be like you're gonna see the time and sales order and just see 20 million shares at the bid or at the ask. Like it's not gonna happen. That doesn't happen like that. There is a lot of those going on there, but if that happens, that would literally kaput the system and really kind of collapse it. Because again, there wouldn't be enough volume to buy that up, and just going to continue to drive the price lower because it's just going to suck everything up like a sponge, and it just won't allow it to go any higher here. So if they're strategic, and again, if he does sell, it's going to be strategically potentially over days and weeks. So yeah. Jason said, I think Zillow is going to drop to the 50s. Ryan saying 25. Yeah, it could. Like, we did talk about it a couple times here. Again, we talked about that initial support around 60. But if it does continue to break below that, we're looking for some prices below 50 and potentially even to those pandemic ranges of below 40. So we'll see what happens. Unless you use flex tape. That's the best one, X. Thank you, my friend. Is it flex tape or it's the guy where they punch a hole in the boat and they put flex? No, is it flex tape or flex seal? Isn't it flex seal? Oh God, yeah. Jim is asking for Lucid. Yes. Is it LC? Oh, it's right there. Lucid Group, really impressive moves here. I really am impressed. Sadly, I was in this level here, and it was then I think I bought it here, and then I saw it run up, and I sold it at like $26 or $25 my options. Didn't see this happening. That is something that I missed on my radar here, but that is a very beautiful move higher there without a doubt here. Can it continue running higher? Of course. It's holding the 8 EMA here on the daily side. That's going to be your momentum driver there. But once it starts closing below this 8 EMA on whatever day or whatever week it happens, that's definitely be a time where we see things kind of falling apart here, and then you kind of feel the wheels falling off the train and people getting more shaky about it. Zillow literally copies everything from MLS. Low inventory means more realtors leaving real estate at the end of the year, and subsidies cutting back on expenses such as buying Zillow leads. Cut the boat in half. He taped the boat back together. I love Lucid, but said it could sell CC the entire position. LOL. Sad. Hate when that happens. Yeah. So yeah, Lucid they're just been showing off the cars. They're not in full production or anything yet. Elon won't sell any shares. Watch is. We'll see. Again, he's a man of his words. He has integrity about that for sure. If he says he got to do something, he's going to do it. So we're at 1.6 million-ish, almost 1.7. 18 hours left. We're still at 53.46% there. So, yeah. Oh, they delivered some already, makeshift? Oh, great. Is that why the stock price went higher? Interesting to see, without a doubt. Kelly's, I have covered Affirm. I love my Affirm. It's a position I have in stock. Used to have options. Affirm with earnings coming out, I'm a little bit hesitant about it, but it is a longer term hold play for me. If we do see a break above 175-ish plus, I think it could run without a doubt here. But that being said, here earnings is very much a coin flip. I think the Affirm really has to show a very strong earnings, especially, and really impress a lot of people because it has run quite a bit since its last earnings, with the news of Amazon and a lot of other people jumping on board on using Affirm within their e-commerce purchasing and so forth. Ken, your thoughts on the upcoming Polestar or Polestar SPAC? I don't know what that is. Is that another electric EV company? Is that the two-wheel thing? Or is this China? Is this the Chinese? What is this? This, I don't like the way this looks. It looks weird. Who makes? What is this? I don't. Oh, it's got Google Maps. Look, it's using Google something, and it's talking to Peter. It looks pretty. You know, like tan seats, like black. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad looking car, but Tesla's better in my opinion. I'm just joking. I have no idea if this joke was. AMD has been on fire. It has, and by on fire I mean it's been doing well, right? Again, same kind of like a pivot move here, and just a huge breakout here, going into pretty crazy unknown territory, looking for a pullback to the 8 EMA here. Again, that 8 EMA being a level of some support. Again, that 8 EMA is driving the momentum indicator there. Do you think the meta killed Peloton? I think Peloton killed itself by making treadmills that kills kids and people and hurts people. That's a joke. That's a terrible joke. But yeah, I think it was a great thing during the quarantine on people posting things about their Peloton. I always made a joke about it on the live streams. If you guys remember, I would look out my window and I would always see the black Peloton Mercedes-Benz van dropping off Pelotons to all the neighbors in my neighborhood. I haven't seen that in months and months. That wasn't my only indicator, but it definitely was an indicator of my thing. Yeah. It's under Volvo already dealing. Oh, okay. So, but did you know Volvo is owned by a very large institutional Chinese firm? I didn't know that. The Swedish people don't own Volvo anymore, even though the flag's inside the seat still. DWAC, is this the Trump stock? Yeah, this thing, insane, right? I think we all knew that it wasn't going to close at 175, and definitely going to be coming back down a little bit more here, potentially down 47 if it can maybe find some kind of base there. But we'll see on how this one plays out. But that was a pretty crazy moves over those past couple days. Jay Blue, what do you think? Is that JetBlue? Yeah, so this is an airline stock. So especially with the airline stock, I kind of put them in, I hate to say it, in one kind of cohort. And I'm just going to look at jets. So look at this stock or this trend, look at the stock, and then look at this. Looks very much alike, right? This gapped up, jets gapped up. I'd rather kind of own the cohort rather than just one or the other here. But definitely something really interesting to see, that huge gap up from 23 all the way breaking up to the $24 range. finally. The sad thing is we're potentially becoming some overhead resistance here around the $25 level. So if we can get past that $25 level, fantastic, high five, let's go kind of scenario. But we don't know if that's going to happen, right? That's in the future. I do like to see that large green candle that really turns me on and gets the jet fuel flowing through my veins. If you don't know, I have a very large amount of jet calls coming out into next summer. So let's go. It's a Chinese company. Yeah, I'm not interested in them makeshifts. No offense though. KTOS. Yeah, this was a Cathie Wood stock too, if I remember right. Yeah, potentially finding some kind of level here around $21 to $20 here. Not my favorite looking thing. It is kind of failing here. It's below the 55 EMA on the weekly side. Would like to see it back above $23 to even $25 levels there, Ryan, to kind of see that kind of pump through there. Alrighty. Any more questions, comments, or concerns out there? Please put it in the chat box. If not, I'm gonna be jumping off here. I'm probably gonna be watching an episode of Narcos. Yes, Narcos Mexico. Love that show. Just came out. I can't watch too much of it. It makes me want to join a drug cartel. That's another joke, everyone. If you don't know that right yet. Moderna. Someone asked me about that. The thing that looks a very large, heavy knife. Apple as well. Apple is looking fairly interesting. So Apple's trying to curl back up here, potentially trying to break above that 157 range plus. We'll see how that one plays out. QComp, talk about a one that has been completely gangbusters and shooting the lights out. Holy moly guacamole. This one with earnings last week literally went into the stratosphere and it was pulling away from Earth's gravitational pull here, but hit that level from its previous high here. If this does want to continue, we're looking for 167 to get, 167 plus to kind of get back above that range here and see it go from there. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a quick recap on SPY weekly chart. In a very unknown territory within the SPY. Again, we are pretty somewhat far away from the 8 EMA. A little concerning that it doesn't mean that we're going to come down crashing here, but we are a little bit extended here, on my opinion. So that front there with SPY. Same with QQQ. A little bit extended for me as well. Potentially need to slow down here, kind of pump the brakes before we blow our load here. What do I think about crypto miners? I think they're gone. I would just rather own the asset. Yeah, this looks like a Marathon Digital Holdings. Looks pretty nice here. It's broke above that $57 range, potentially hitting the $68 to potentially even $80 plus. But again, that's going to be very much tied to the power of the cost of Bitcoin. Riot, I don't know what's going on there. Potentially kind of finding some level of support around 27. Really, if it starts breaking above $34 to $35, that would be very interesting, especially to that $39 to 40 plus range there. And the HUT, also same kind of scenario. It has already broken out above the 8 plus, and now it's really seeing a very aggressive move higher there. Again, following that 8 EMA there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on that front, you guys have a fantastic rest of the weekend. I will see you around. Please join the Discord if you have any further questions, and I'll catch you guys in the flip.